Honorable Speaker, it is an honor to go after my deputy party leader has spoken on the position of the party. Honorable Speaker, I want first of all to echo the words that the Senator for Vihiga has said, that we as ODM are extremely proud of the campaign that was run by our party leader, the Honorable Raila Odinga. We are extremely proud, Honorable Speaker, because even some of us who are way younger than us were envious of his energy to put in all those hours of flights, to go to all those capitals, to go and speak to all of those people so that they can be able to support him. There is consensus across the country, Honorable Speaker, that there was nothing wrong with the candidate. We presented the best possible candidate Kenya could have. If you look at his stellar experience in public life, even on the continent as the AU infrastructure envoy for the past few years, Honorable Speaker, we had the best candidate we could put forward. Honorable Speaker, last year I had opportunity to be a part of an observer mission, and it was the first time that I was undertaking such duties in my entire life. We were part of an observer mission for the elections in Somaliland. And that is when, Honorable Speaker, I came to realize that sometimes that the decisions that are taken in our internal borders or in the borders of one country, we think sometimes that they are entirely our decision. But I'm telling you, Honorable Speaker, I learned that many people, especially your neighbors, your political neighbors, have interest in what happens in your country. Honorable Speaker, when we were there, we realized that many of the countries around Somaliland had an interest. Addis Ababa had an interest in the election in Somaliland. The people of Djibouti were watching very keenly to see what happens in Somaliland, and of course Somalia itself, because they claim that Somaliland is part of the region of Somalia. Honorable Speaker, what that experience showed me is that I am totally blindsided as a legislator, as a leader in this country, when it comes to global geopolitics. It is no wonder, Honorable Speaker, I made a decision, conscious decision, to join the committee in this House that deals with foreign relations. Because for me, Honorable Speaker, I have always felt that the lack of clarity when it comes to Kenya's foreign policy positions is a problem for even some of us. Honorable Speaker, I will give you another anecdote before I say what I want to say. When I began my journey in politics, I tried my hand in a rural constituency called Kandui. And I remember, Honorable Speaker, we used to send representatives to funerals. For instance, because I used to operate out of Nairobi, I couldn't attend all functions. And I remember the advice of one old man, that the people you send who speak in your name, Madam Speaker, they are as important as you. Sometimes even more important than you. Because that face that they see determines whether they elect you or they don't. Honorable Speaker, I was told, you must do family background checks. I can see Khalwale looking at me. Honorable Speaker, if Khalwale sends somebody to represent him at a function in Malinya, and that person has questionable character, like for instance, he's a night runner, or he's a murderer, or he has bad manners generally, then the reputation of that person rubs on you as a candidate. I want to say very clearly that there is consensus that there was nothing wrong with our candidate. The problem, as I see it and as I understand it, is the bad manners of the republic that he was fronted by. And I want to go through those bad manners, Honorable Speaker, because it is something that is worrying to us. Honorable Speaker, people make decisions based on how they feel about you, your relationship with them. And I believe the election of the AU was no different. We were all very perturbed when a few months ago, some leaders of a rebel movement were granted opportunity to speak from our shows here. And Honorable Speaker, this I want to draw the distinctions between what Raila Odinga believes in, the things that I know he believes in, and the positions that have been taken by our country that are diametrically opposed to the things that he believes in. Raila Odinga is a Democrat. He would never support the appending of power other than by means of democratic processes. He would never support a situation where you have people who are threatening peace and stability in a neighboring country, and then you grant them, a stage for them to be able to perpetuate this division in their own homes. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, you have this Pan-Africanist who believes in democracy, who believes in the democratically elected government in the DRC, And then you have your own country, the sponsoring country, allowing rebel movements to have a stage in our own republic to say things and undermine democratically elected governments back home. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, there are certain things that I actually believe, like global conflicts, that I admit that maybe I do not have the solution. But Honorable Speaker, when your country takes a position on that, you instantly make enemies and friends. And the clearest example to me is the conflict in the Middle East. This is one of the most complex global conflicts, Honorable Speaker. And many people have gotten to a place where we feel that even the proposed solutions that used to appear like they could work, as days go by and the events in the Middle East continue to unfold, we start to feel like maybe there is no solution to these problems. Honorable Raila Odinga is my party leader. I have had him publicly take a position to support the Palestinian people and say that they have a right to a home. Honorable Speaker, that is the position of the candidate. But what is the position of the sponsoring country? Honorable Speaker, when the sponsoring country takes up an opposite position to the candidate, then it presents a problem. So these conflicts between the position of the candidate and the position taken by government, I believe, contributed to the situation that we are right now. Honorable Speaker, of course, all of us know that once conflict erupted in the DRC, there are certain notions, especially from countries and players in that particular country, that Kenya's position was not a position that was advancing the security and peace of the DRC. Honorable Speaker, we have a very strong voting bloc, the Southern African Development Community. You know the position that they took at the AU. One of the biggest countries and most influential countries in that particular bloc is South Africa. South Africa lost 13 soldiers out of that eruption of violence in Eastern DRC just a few weeks ago. The feeling that I have seen amongst many of these people is that that conflict and that emergence of violence was mishandled by the regions, and especially by Kenya. Honorable Speaker, the evidence is in the fact that when our head of state called for a regional summit to discuss that conflict, in fact, the DRC refused to attend. Honorable Speaker, these political decisions that we make here internally, Madam Speaker, they have global implications. The positions we take as a country have implications of how the rest of the country, the world views us and our standing in the community of nations. Honorable Speaker, most of us were shocked. Just a few days ago, I was sitting at KICC, and there was a red carpet rolled out, and there were very lovely ushers there. And I remember asking them, and they were all dressed in a shade of red, I think.
Point of information.
It's called...
Point of information. Point of information.
Would you wish to be informed by
Senator? It's going to mess my flow of
Senator
thoughts, but let him inform you.
Senator Eddy, do not mess the flow of thought from the Honourable Senator's submission.
Madam Speaker, this is one of my favorite leaders in the minority side, so I wouldn't want to sometimes interfere with this point of information. But I think I've listened to him using the word position of country interchangeably. Leader is that there is no country's foreign policy decision and written to those effects of those insights that you have shared. So I just want to make that distinction that position of country is different from position of individuals.